Hey there. So Passover's coming up and you might be wondering, well, do I do anything different in my homeschool to incorporate this, or do I take the week off, or what do I do? Well, there are a lot of Jewish holidays. So if you take the week off, you might be taking a lot of weeks off for a lot of different holidays. So here are 3 quick ways to incorporate Passover into your homeschool week. All right, let's get to it. So my first idea is kind of a fun one. It's learning about the history of the production of matzah. So we have, in the actual biblical narrative, some pretty, this is how matzah started accounts. And then when you look at the different offerings of matzah, we have lots of different offerings. And that was actually the Devar Torah this past week or yesterday for me. I'm filming this on Sunday. So that was our Devar Torah yesterday, was, the different offerings in how they prepared matzah. But you can also look at more modern production of matzah and how it gets made in a factory setting and all of that. So let's go to the next little slide and we'll kind of talk about what that might look like real quick. So in 1888, a Lithuanian immigrant named Dov Bear, no, not that Dove Bear, a different one, opened the first matzah making factory in Cincinnati, Ohio. Bear adopted the name Manischewitz and named his factory the B. Manischewitz Company and developed an entirely automated method of matzah production. So if you're wondering where those classic boxes of matzah come from, you can thank Dove Bear. And I love this story because I love anyone named Dove Bear, because my son, my brand new son, if you're wondering why I haven't been on YouTube for quite a while, it's been because I've been pregnant and I have a new son and his name is Dove. So, all right, that's a quick little history of matzah. So if you've been homeschooling for even a little bit, you've probably seen a lot of roll the dice story prompts. So this one has one kind of built into it. We've got 10 plagues. Some of the later ones are pretty scary. So let's just do the first 6. Roll the dice and write a short story about what it would be like to live through that plague. You can adapt this for a younger student and say, just tell me a story. You can adapt this and say, write a sentence about that plague. It doesn't matter. Find a way to roll the dice and do a quick little language arts activity about a plague. All right, so I know you probably don't need a reminder. If you're watching this, you're probably Jewish and you're probably been practicing your Haggadah, or you're about to get a big reminder as to what the 10 plagues were, but let's go over them anyways because I needed a second slide. All right, so first, if you roll a 1, you'll talk about water turning into blood. That could be kind of scary for some younger kids, so adapt it as needed. Second would be frogs. Third would be lice. Fourth would be wild beasts swarming. Sometimes this is mistranslated to be flies. It's swarming like flies. Wild beasts are swarming like flies. Livestock pestilence for number 5. Boils. Ugh. Hail, locusts, darkness, killing of the firstborn. So we're not going to talk about hail, although we did get a big hailstorm on Friday, so that was awful here. We're not going to talk about locusts, although I do have a great personal story of the time that every 3-year cycle of locusts, every 7-year cycle of locusts, and every 13-year cycle of locusts all came at the same time when I was a kid, and it was the most disgusting time ever. So that was a biblical plague right there. Ugh, just locusts everywhere. Darkness. Kids are scared of the dark, but it's not on the dice anyways. And killing of the firstborn. Let's not write a story about that with children. All right. Okay, so my third idea was to trace a map of the Middle East and label the different landmarks mentioned in the Exodus story. So we do classical conversations, and they are really, really, I know, classical conversations for a Jewish family, a little bit weird, but they're great, and I absolutely love our community, and they are some phenomenal humans. So they are really big on map tracing and map work and labeling things. And oh my goodness, I thought my geography skills were good before. They are phenomenal now. And so are my daughters, which is great. So trace a map of the Middle East. And as you read through the book of Exodus, you can either do this during the Passover story, while you're, actually doing the Seder, or you can do this, throughout the week as you're, incorporating different stories, as you're letting your kids watch The Prince of Egypt while you cook, or watch Rugrats, Passover story, or whatever it is. Have them start labeling things, preferably, I guess, you're actually reading the book of Exodus to your children, but you probably are doing those other things. So have them label things that get mentioned throughout the week. All right. So let's meet up on the next slide and I'll show you an example. So first off, I did not make this map. I am not quite this good at graphics. So I did not make it. I've got the URL for where you can find it. These are from the fine folks at Bible History Online. I don't know who they are. I Googled this. So check them out for more stuff. But this was a great map. So it shows a lot of different places mentioned in the book of Exodus and labels everything incredibly well. It's phenomenal. So this is not what I'm suggesting your children do, but I do suggest that you start with like a little black line map of the Middle East or of the Sinai Peninsula and Egypt, and kind of show like, okay, this is where Mount Sinai is, and this is the desert we're talking about that they were wandering around in. We were wandering around in. Yes, say we. And where is the land of Goshen? And what does that mean? And you start to use the map to start talking about these terms and make them more concrete for the child. All right. Well, thank you so much. And check out the next couple things, because I've got a couple ideas and they're not quite ready yet, or I would put them somewhere where you could get them. But I do have some things in the works. So if you're a Jewish homeschooling family, there's not a ton of us, and their curriculum is, well, the curriculum out there on the internet is either going to be made for Jewish day schools, which is fantastic, but it's not super well suited for a homeschooling family. Some of it is, and I have a lot of it. And I've made videos about different day school curriculums that we're incorporating into our homeschool and how we use them, but we fly through them. And they're not exactly what we're looking for, right? We're homeschoolers, so nothing is exactly what we're looking for. So I started making my own. And then I kept making it and kept making it and kept making it. And it's still not done yet, but I do plan on making it available for others. But right now, what I'm working on is creation through Abraham, and going through, and then I keep thinking of ideas, and I keep adding games and adding worksheets and adding, well, you could do a little matching game, and you can, sort the Hebrew to the English word, and then you have a Hebrew thing in there. And I keep adding things to it, but I think it's going to be really cool. I've just got to get it to the point where I'm willing to share it with others. So hang around and I'll let you know where you can get it. I would have loved for it to be ready for this week, but soon. I really wish it was ready for this week. So I do have a little printable game that I'm working on that incorporates these graphics that are not mine. They're from an artist on Canva. So all rights to her, and it has her tags and everything. And I'll put the tags in the bio here so that if you want these really cute graphics and you have a Canva Pro membership, then you can, make your own cute little things. But I'm working on this really cute little game that goes through the Exodus story, and it's adorable, and it's not ready yet. Maybe next year. So there's that.